Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbana zidna ilma. Allahumma faqihna fid din. Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'a wa rizqan tayyiba wa amalan mutaqabbala. Amin ya rabbal alameen. So here we are with our session number 58, and let's start our session with review. So the first question that I have for you is, how many types of khabar do we see in Jumla Ismiya? There are one type of khabar, two or three. Can you all hear me? No. When we were doing the Jumla Ismiya and when we were going over the types of khabar, so the first type was, if you remember, mufrad ism, right? And then we divided our jumlas into two because we are doing our Jumla Ismiya in the way that we are not labeling our Shubu Jumla as another khabar. We are calling it Mutalik bil khabar. So based on what we have learned, we have seen three types of khabar. One was Mufrad ism, the other two were, one was Jumla Ismiya, right? And the other one was Jumla Failya, right? So now when it comes to Mutalik bil Khabar, we have learned what do we see in our Jumla Ismiya, and we can call it Mutalik bil Khabar. If we see Jar Majroor, fragment, or Zarf, right? Jar Majroor, Zarf, you can label it as Mutalik bil Khabar. Then a word like Yoma came, right? There was some confusion about how to label Yoma because Yoma came with Dhamma as well. So when Yoma is with Fatha in Jumla Ismiya, what did I tell you about its labeling? We are going to call it Mutalik bil, right? We are going to call it, in case of Jumla Ismiya, we are going to call it Mutalik bil Khabar, right? And if it is with Dhamma, then we can, just label it as our Khabar, right? So let me show you an example and make sure that you have got it right, okay? Inshallah. Let me see. No, let me go by the juz. Okay, so this is juz 2. And before juz 2, I have my juz 1. And here it is. The story of Talut and Jalut. Okay, one second. Let me find through the root. Easy. So think about this sentence. What will I label al-yawma here? There's all ism in the sentence, and we have not learned its labeling yet, right? So we are going to label this one as Mutalik bil because we are going to go by the haraka on the yom, right? We are going to go by the haraka on the yom because it is the detail, it is coming up as a detail, and your detail in Jumla Ismiya is Mutalik bil Khabar. And you must have noticed every time you see your zarf, if it is not preceded by min, what is the haraka on your zarf? If you see fawq, taht, qabl, what is haraka that they mostly carry? Which haraka they carry? Fatha. Remember that. Why do they carry fatha? Because they give us what? Detail. They give us detail. That is why they carry fatha. Always remember that, inshallah. Okay. Yes, and detail is nasb and status, right? And when you see it in Jumla failure, you can easily, start looking for your maf'ul. In your Jumla Ismiya, we will learn later on how we are going to deal with such kind of detail, but the details that I'm going to mostly show you will be something to do with time and place. It is going to be in a sum of time and place, which will be mansub in status, nasb in status. So you can easily call it mutalik bil khabar, okay, for at this point, at this stage. And then inshallah, when we'll move on to later stages, inshallah, you will learn all different types of labelings as well, inshallah. So now you see here some sentences. Hazihi, sabili. What kind of a sentence is this? Jumla ismiya. Can we call it ism ishara musharun alayh fragment? Can it be a fragment? But yes, no, it does not have al. That was the trick. You needed to remember. Yeah, remember. Your ism ishara, if it is followed by al, then it is going to be translated in a way that it is going to be treated as a fragment. But if it is not followed by al, then it is a complete sentence. Okay. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. Then they should worship Master Rabb of this house, Lord of this house. So Hazal Bait. That is why this house. We did not say this is a house. But if it was Haza Baitun, then it is going to be this is a house, and Haza is going to be Mubtada and Baitun is going to be Khabar. Now come back. I hope this was a good quick review of Ism Ishara Mushar Alayh. So here you are going to call it. What are we going to call? Hazihi Mubtada, and Sabil. Sabil is going to be my. Now I have found my Mubtada. So now I have to look for my Khabar, right? So it is going to be my khabar. Remember that. There is no confusion. There should be no confusion about this. This sabil is not talking about any particular path. Again, these are those paths. Like, just, this is my path. This is your path. This is something that I follow. This is my way. This is your way. It is not like a road path. Okay. This is just, just talking about, intangible, kind of a path. So it is your khabar. Your khabar, which category of khabar this is, because you have learned 3 types of akhbar. Mufrad ism, right? If it is not a sentence, and Sister Zohra, we clarified it in our last session. So if it is not a sentence, if your khabar is not a sentence, you are going to call it mufrad ism for now. Okay, and this is going to work for you, inshallah. If it is not jumla ismiya, not jumla failya, you can call it mufrad ism, and that is the type of your khabar. Okay. That was what was discussed in the last session. So just wanted to make sure that, if you have not listened to the recording, this is clear. Okay. If your khabar is not jumla ismiya, jumla failya, we are calling it mufrad ism. It can be any fragment. Okay. Now comes hasbuna. Hasbu. What do you think about hasbu? It means sufficient. Mubtada, barakallahu feek, very well done. What should I label na? Yes, it is, if there is an idafa a fragment here, and I can label na as damir muttasil majroor bil idafa. Make sense? Right? We can all call it. We can all treat it like that. Now, what should I look for? Khabar. I should look for khabar. And do I see one? Lafzul Jalala is my khabar, right? Alhamdulillah. So Lafzul Jalala is a khabar. Now comes waw, and waw is going to be my atf, and then ni'ma. Ni'ma is a very strange jamid kind of a fail. It doesn't change much. So it is a fail. So if it is a fail, what kind of a fail does it look like? If I have given you that. Madi, very well done, very well done. And Just a second. Okay, so it is fi'l madin, and what will be the pronoun here? If it is fi'l madin, we are going to now find out, every fi'l has a pronoun, right? So what is going to be the pronoun here? If it was to be here, what should the fi'l have? And if it is, if there is a here madin, what should that fi'l have? And Alina is going to answer. Oh no, the Ranaz is, she has already, given the answer. Barakallahu feek, right? If it was ni'mat, it would have been here, right? Right? If it would ni'mat, it would have been here, and I would have taken it as a right answer. But this is ni'ma, nothing after it. So the damir mustatir, as Sister Ambreen has already answered, the damir is mustatir, but the damir mustatir in this case is here. Even with ni'mat, the damir is mustatir. Ta is for tanisul fail, right? So this is ni'ma, that is fail madin jamir, and this is the one that has a pronoun hidden in it. And when you have a huwa in your fail, what do you look for? What should you look for? Not always there, but can be there. File. Very well done. You should look for file or doer. And do you see one? So the word al-wakil is your doer, and it is marfu bid-dammatu zahira, right? Marfu bid-dammatu zahira, dhamma is visible, and this is your file for ni'ma. I hope this is clear. So since the Ramadan is around the corner, alhamdulillah, we are approaching it really quickly. So I thought that, we should go over i'rab of this dua. Okay. Aftara. What do you think about aftara? Fail. Madin. Failuhu. Aftara. This is madin because you're just beginning your sentence. It cannot be if it was ana, it would have it should have dhamma at the end, right? Because there is no reason for this fail to be nasbin status. You don't see anything in front, right? So it is huwa aftara, right? Huwa aftara. And that can be, the samza can be confusing sometimes, but remember, if it was ana, and there is another thing there, another word there that is taking you away from choosing ana as as a pronoun for this one. And what is that? Who can spot that? Just see closely. You don't have to go far for this. No, not kum. Look at the word. There is aftara. Then you go to indakum, and indakum is, idafa, and it is your mutalik will. As-saimuna. Barakallahu feek, Sister Amreen, right? As-saimuna. So this waw here, which is indicating this word, is what in status? As al-muslimuna. Rough in status, right? This waw is the indication of this ism being rough in status. So if this has an outside ism that is marfu in status, this cannot be ana after, right? It has to be fail madin with damir mustatir huwa, which will be fired by as-saimuna. Everyone with me so far? And because now we are advancing to the big sentences, inshallah, that is how we will practice, and that is how we learn. Okay, that is, because there are many videos that you can see, and they are all available. Alhamdulillah, we have so much access to knowledge nowadays that gaining knowledge from any source is not at all difficult. So the purpose is how to what you learn, how you can apply that, inshallah. So what we is the labeling for indakum? What do we see here? Indakum. Inda. Zarf idafa. So now we are in Now, my sentence is starting with a fail madin. What kind of a sentence now I am putting a rab on? Is it jumla ismiya or jumla failure? Jumla failure, right? So now my mutalik bil is going to be related to my fail, right? So mutalik bil fail is going to be the labeling for indakum, right? Mutalik bil fail, we'll call it. And then comes your as-saimuna. What are you going to label it? As-saimuna. Look carefully. It is marfu in status. It is going to be file, file for aftara, right? Okay. Now let me read you the translation for this. So this was my one of the projects that I wanted to really do, and I couldn't never, because there is only so much you can do, and hours were always limited for myself, and so I could not do so many things. Okay, so let me read you the translation for this. So may the fasting persons break fast with you, and this is a dua that you are going to inshallah give to someone who is going to make iftar for you. Okay, if it is your mother or if it is your sister or your husband, if they give you something to break your roza, this is the dua that you are supposed to give to them. Okay, so when I use this aftara fail madin, am I using it in a conventional manner or it is a non-standard use of fail madin? What do you think? Yes, it is being used as dua. So is it standard use or non-standard use of fail madin? Non-standard, right? So keep that in mind. So this is a good practice. When you read this dua and you find why is this, made you do this, now you know that there is a way where fail madin is used to make dua for someone, just like jazakallahu khairan, right? Just like that. Now I will go on to the rest of the labeling, inshallah, and we'll be real quick. Wa akala, wow is at, and akala. Akala. Hamza kaf lam, fail madin. Ta'amakum. 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 Look again. It is in idafa. Ta'amakum means your food. Is it anything to do with time and place? And we are now literally in jumla failure. And when we see a fail and we look for file and maf'ul, right, in jumla failure, and yes, there is a mutalik bil as well, but here it is ta'amakum. It has nothing to do with time and place or any detail like that. So we can, and it's not jar majroor either, so we can call it maf'ul bihi, right? So akala, and he eats your food. What does he eat? Your food. Al abrar. Yes, Sister Sabra. Yes, because it has nothing to do with time and place, right? And this is ta'ama is answering your what question, right? What do they eat, right? Clear? It is answering your what question. You are going to call it maf'ul bihi. Then comes al abrar. Give me a labeling for abrar because it is marfu status. So it is what? It is file for akala. File. Everyone with me. I have I think there may be some sisters who are joined together. And Sister Zabra, yeah. So 2 times, and I see Sister Anas, Sister Zarina. Yeah. Okay. So everyone understood this so far? Now comes the order, the sequence. Is everything in sequence here in these 2 sentences? Is the order how it is in jumla failure? Think about it. Fail, file, maf'ul or mutalik bil. Fail, and right after fail is your file. And then comes your details like maf'ul or mutalik bil fail. Yes, mutalik bil fail is muqaddam here. Barakallahu feek, right? Indakum is muqaddam, right? Mutalik bil fail is muqaddam in the first sentence because your file was after, right? Because fail, file, maf'ul or mutalik bil fail, right? And then in case of akala, ta'amakum, again, your maf'ul bihi is muqaddam. Clear, my dear sisters? Alhamdulillah. And that is how we learn. Okay, people who don't get disheartened by a few minor mistakes and keep on going, that those are the people who will reach the target. Okay, so wasallat, wow, at sallat. Look at the fail very carefully. It is fail madin, barakallahu fi, hiya. And what helped you identify, Sister Sabra, that this was hiya? How did you identify it? You are absolutely right. Everyone is right that it is hiya. Ta, right? Sister Rubin, barakallahu fi. Ta, litanisul fail, harf, harf litanisul fail is, helping us identify it as, that there is a hiya mustatir here. But when we have a hiya mustatir, what do we look for? Hua hiya. After hua hiya, what do we look? Outside door. Do we find one? Yes, very well done. Al malaikatu. So angels. Yes. So why is angels, are the angels feminine? Are they females? Yes, you can. Oh, they are not. They are not. Okay, because in Quran you see that they call them the daughters of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Arabs used to say that, but that is not the truth, my dear sisters. So when we read Aqidah, theology, we learn that angels, this is not, they are not females in gender, no. Okay, remember that. And this has been not Akida should not be the main source. Our Quran is the best source to find out if they are really, which one. How in Quran asks, how do we know that how do they know that they are females? How do they know that I have created them as females, and I should not just say it? I will show you the verse later, but we are running already out of time. So no, 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 no. No, 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 no. We are not going to call it like that. It is not there. It is not there. No. Malak is the it is a singular. Malak is the singular. Malak is the singular. This is a broken plural. And you just took your test that you can see a mismatch, a gender mismatch. In which case, what are the cases for gender mismatch? If your word is a broken plural, right? So al malaikatu is a broken plural. You can just say, right? And then word, by looking at the structure of the word, it does look like lafzan. The word is feminine, but the reason you can give it easily is that it's a broken plural, right? It's a broken plural, simple. Everyone with me so far? Alhamdulillah. So now the translation goes on. May the fasting persons break fast with you, the righteous partake in your meals, and the angels pray for blessings for you. It is from Sunan Abi Dawud 3854. Okay, so here the entire time, the whole dua has fail madin that is being used in a non-standard way to make a dua for one who is making iftar for you. Okay, inshallah. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from those who make iftar for others and get this dua as well. So before we do this one, inshallah, I think let's just learn a little bit more about Jumla Ismiya, and then we can, if we have time, we'll come back. Okay, inshallah. That's how we will do it today. Okay. Alhamdulillah. Yes, it is a Jumla failure, right? Because our Jumla was starting with a fail, and everything we did it in a what we do in Jumla failure, right? So let's come back a little bit. So you must have noticed that every time when we were doing Mubtada and Khabar, they were matching in number and gender. For example, when I asked you, what is Antum? Antum Muslimuna. What kind of a sentence do you see here? Jumla Ismiya. What will you label Antum as? Mubtada. And what is Muslimuna? Can I say Antum Muslimatun? Can I say Antum Muslimatun? No. Do you say she is a good boy in English? Does it make sense? No, right? Or he is a good girl? Yes, now the pronouns are all messed up in the world we are part of, but that is another day. But we, for no, a normal human being, when they make sentences and there is you will see they are in sync. Mubtada and khabar are in sync, and so is subject and predicate. Remember that. So in case of nahnu muslimuna, what is mubtada and what is khabar? It is going to be, nahnu is going to be mubtada, muslimuna is going to be your khabar. In case of huma sahirani, huma sahirani, huma is going to be my mubtada, right? Huma mubtada, and sahirani is going to be my khabar. And what type of khabar is this? If my khabar is not a sentence, I'm going to call my khabar as mufradism, right? So this is my mufradism. Now, can I say huma sahiruna? Will it be right to say huma sahiruna? Absolutely wrong answer, right? And then I will tell you, there are some words that can be used for masculine, feminine, singular, plural, both. There are words. They don't conform to any gender or number. They remain unchanged. Though there are words, okay? Keep that in mind too. Anta faizun. What do you think? Anta is mubtada and faizun is khabar. Now, can I say anta faizatun? Can I say that? Anta faizatun? No, that is wrong. Anti muhsinatun. You are a muhsina. So, anti is going to be my mubtada and muhsinatun is going to be my khabar. And this slide has been added to your previous session. Okay. Remember that. Okay. I just so that I thought that this is something that will make sense, but just note it is going to be, it has been added to your session number 57, because now we are on session number 58. Okay, so bismillah, let's do session number 58. Now you will see, what did I tell you about your mubtada, the type of mubtada? What is the type of mubtada? What should we expect for mubtada? It is going to be proper, right? It is rough. It's going to be rough in status. Status is rough, and the type, it has to be proper. Okay, it is by default, it should be proper. Okay, but then we are going to learn today what are the situations, what are the cases when it is allowed for mubtada to be nakira. Okay, I would expect you all to memorize the first 6, and the rest you can skip for now. Okay, because we have not gone into detail of those asma anyways, but first 6 you should know. Okay, inshallah, and I will teach you how it will make sense. Okay, so when your mubtada is preceded by nafi, it is allowed for it to be common. So if I ask you, la khawfun, what will you label khawfun? What will be the labeling for khawfun? It is going to be your mubtada. And alayhim, jar wal majroor is going to be your MBK. Barakallahu feek. This one I will skip for now. Inshallah, I will come back. Here, sometimes what happens is that your min can attach to your mubtada, and I will teach you how that works. But for now, remember this example. This comes in Quran so many times. If you're able to master this one, the rest is going to be easy. If your mubtada is preceded by nafi, where is nafi? Where do you see nafi? What is doing the nafi? La is there for nafi, right? La nafiya is there. And I taught you when I was teaching you nafi in case of jumla failure, that la nafiya is very unique. It can negate jumla failure. It can also negate jumla ismiya. And here you can see it is negating jumla ismiya. You all with me? my dear sisters? Alhamdulillah. Then when your mubtada is preceded by istifham, if your mubtada is preceded by istifham, if there is a word that is a question, it could be a question particle, it could be a question particle, or it could be a question ism. If it is at the beginning of the sentence, if it is before your mubtada, it is allowed for your mubtada, it is justified for your mubtada to be common. Okay, so in this sentence, a ilahun ma Allah. So what do you see here? Ilahun. What are you going to label ilahun? Mubtada. What is the labeling for ma'allahi? MBK, right? So why is it allowed for ilahun to be ilahun and not al-ilah? Because this question particle is there. And are there, is there, or not are, is there God with Allah? Is there a deity with Allah? Yes, it is. It is question. It is a question particle. Hamza is a question particle here. Ranaz, are you with me? So this question particle, which it means is there, it now, if I have to remove this, the translation would have been deity is with Allah. There's a deity with Allah. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the word right. It always confuses me. There is God with Allah. You can say it like that. Ma'azallah. But when I put this Hamza here, now it is changed to a question. Okay. This Hamza is for question. And now it means the question particle. Now the meaning is changed to, is there any God with Allah? So because of presence of this Hamza, that is Hamzatul Istifham, Harfe Istifham, it is allowed for my Mubtada to be Nakira. Type 1 if you all have understood these 2 points. Because this is going to be in Quran and you can have wrong interpretation for this. And my dear sisters, this is the way to go. If you find your Mubtada, these 6 and rest, if you can memorize, good for you. And it is going to come in handy at one point, inshallah, you will find that. But when you find some construction like this, you should tell yourself, because my mubtada is preceded by la, my mubtada is preceded by harf istifham hamza, therefore it is allowed for my mubtada to be common. It is allowed. There is nothing fancy about it. There is nothing not fancy about it. Yes, Hamza is the only question particle. The first Hamza is the question particle. First Hamza is the question particle. The next Hamza is a part of the word that I have underlined. Okay. I hope this is clear. Now, when your mubtada is mawsoof, how many of you have learned the translation of word to word for Baqarah? Type 1 if you have gone over it. Alhamdulillah. So now it's going to, help you here. So when your mubtada is going to be, let me just, show you this one so that I can make it underlined. Where is the underlining part? Text color? No, this not this one. Okay. When your mubtada is a mawsoof, so abadun mu'minun. What do you see here? Mawsoof sifa. The mawsoof was abadun and mu'minun is describing. So now, are we talking about any abd, any slave, or we are talking about a believing slave? No, it's specific now. I agree with you, Alina. This addition of mu'minun is adding the specificity. So keep that in mind always, okay? Now, yes, it is common. It still remains common. It is nakira. But this mu'minun has made it mukhassas. Mukhassas means something that has been specified. Khas karna in Urdu, the same root letters are the root letters for mukhassas, that something has been specified because of addition of a sifa to it. So now this abadun is not any abd, it is a believing slave. Everyone with me so far? In this case, it is allowed. It is allowed that your mubtada is common. Are we good, my dear sisters? If you see mubtada common, you are not going to get overwhelmed by that. That what is happening here? Oh my, how come this? I can label this as mubtada? No, it is going to be allowed. Okay. So last week, when no, it was not last week. It was this week when we were doing our sentences, and I gave you a slide where I said that if your mutalik bil khabar is coming in the beginning of your sentence, the ism after your mutalik bil khabar is going to be labeled as what? What did I? Those of you who have gone over the work, what did they learn? Oh, I'm going to tell you about that too. It is for emphasis, my dear. And we will come to that point too. La is for emphasis. Yes. La abadun. It is surely. Surely. It's surely, no, there's a lot of emphasis there. That, if you want to marry a believing slave, but don't marry mushrik. Okay? So, yeah, if there is a jar majroor in your sentence without any fail, and then you find a ism after your jar majroor that is common, what is the labeling for that ism? And I will show you that as well for just a remember this slide. If the sentence begins with jar, yeah, you remember that, alhamdulillah. So if a sentence begins with jar majroor wa zarf idafa, the ism in that sentence is going to be labeled as mubtada, even if it is common, right? So remember, fi qulubihim maradun, fi dhalikum bala'un, and we did those two sentences, and also we did the last sentence as well, but that was proper mubtada. So, but the first two were the ones with the common mubtada. So I wanted you to be familiar with it. If your mubtada is coming after your jar majroor, it can be common. Okay, it is allowed to be for it to be common. It is from the musabbigat of the ibtida bin nakra. Okay, so it is allowed. It is the rationale for being common is there because your sentence is beginning with jar wal majroor. Everyone with me so far? Okay, now for those sisters who are still confused, let's do it real quick. Okay, three come in jar wal majroor. Which three? Oh, three. My dear sister, your sentence began with abadun. Your sister began with your mubtada began with abadun, right? Abadun mu'minun. So that was an ism. It did not begin with jar wal majroor. Jar wal majroor was at the end, right? That is going to be just a regular MBK. Number 4. Okay, Sister Anas, let's do. If your mubtada is delayed, if it is coming after khabar or mutalik bil khabar, your mubtada is allowed to be common. There is a allowance for it to be common. For example, if I start my sentence and I'm again coming back to Surah Al-Baqarah, okay? Ala absari. Give me labeling for this while I'm, doing something else for you guys. Let me just highlight it so that you get your slides fixed. Ala absari. Mutalik bil, right? Jar wal majroor mutalik bil khabar. Absarihim is idafa. You are going to write him is majroor bil idafa, right? It's all plain and simple. Everything is connected, will go together. Now comes your word ghishawa. Ghishawa. So what is ghishawa doing here? What are you going to label it? Mubtada muakhar. As we have learned in the last session, it is going to be your mubtada muakhar. Is it proper? I have taught you mubtada should be proper. No, right? It is not, but this is not proper. It is common, but is it allowed for it to be common? That is what we are learning. It is allowed because it is coming after jar wal majroor. There is an allowance for it to be common. Now, is it understood? And I will keep on repeating myself. I know the Jumla Ismiya, I taught you way more difficult concepts before and left it to the last because this is sometimes, it can get very confusing. It is allowed for it to be common. Now go on to lahum. I will skip waw. Mubtada muakhar means that mubtada has been delayed. It has been postponed. And sometimes I'm noticing I just do kalkala on my D's as well for no reason. Okay. Lahum. What do you think about lahum? Jar wal majroor, and this was your li that always gets a fatha when it is with a pronoun, except when it is with a pronoun. Which pronoun it comes with, but it retains its kasra. Anyone remembers? Yes, ya mutakallim. When it comes with ya mutakallim, it is going to be li. But when it is with any other pronoun, it's going to be la. The li gets changed to la. So lahum is your jar wal majroor, and it is muqaddam. It has been brought forward. And then comes your azabun. What is azabun doing here? Mubtada muakhar. Everyone with me. Is it allowed, Elena? Is it okay for it to be common? What do you think now? When you are explaining to someone, because there is a day, and that day is fast approaching. We don't know what time we have left in this world, right? The day is approaching. Inna sa'ata atiyatun. It's just coming. It's there. So when you are going to teach this, are you going to write paragraphs and paragraphs of something that is not there? Because when we bring things forward and delay something, there is sometimes that is done for emphasis, for specificity, for tajil, for excitement, but all that is not applied in this case. Remember that. Okay, it is allowed. Just you are going to say that it is allowed because in this case mubtada can be common. I have learned it like that. Okay, inshallah. And what is azim doing here? Yes, sifa for azabun, and you're going to write it like that. Okay, lil kafirina. Wow, I'm skipping, and we'll just do it real quick. Lil kafirina again is what, my dear sisters? Everyone now. What is the sign of majroor status in case of kafirina? What did I teach you? Tell me that. Not what you learned in the past. Yeah, very well done. Very well done. That this is majroor bil ya. The word is majroor bil ya. Okay. Now comes, so it is jar majroor, that is mutalik bil khabar, and azabun again is your mubtada muakhar, right? And this is allowed. There is an allowance for this to be common. Everyone with me so far? Now comes your fifth reason for your mubtada to be common. If your mubtada is mudaf, it can be common. When I tell you kullu nafsin, is kullu now any kullu, or it has been specified by use of nafsin? I have made it specific. It's talking about the souls, specified, right? So this is another case when you have made your mubtada mukhassas. You have specified it by addition of a specific mudaf ilayhi. Okay, kullu was otherwise very general. Okay, so but specificity has been added by the addition of nafsin. Okay, so kullu nafsin. So kullu is allowed in this case to be common. So every soul will taste death. I'm translating is like that, and we'll inshallah learn one day why do we translate things like that sometimes. Okay, inshallah. So what is going to be your mubtada here? Kullu is mubtada. Nafsin is majroor bil idafa, connected with this. Zaiqatun. What is that? Khabar? What kind of khabar, my dear sisters? Especially Sister Zohra, because she asked me this. I just want to make sure that this is clear, that this is mufradism again, not a sentence. If it is not a sentence, it is going to come in the category of mufradism. Okay, remember that. Okay, yes. So Zaiqatu is going to be labeled as khabar. Al-Mauti is going to be labeled, when I asked you to put it in the columns, you are going to write Majroor bil Idafa. And this is understood that that this is together. It's not that, my hand is going somewhere and my rest of the body is in the playground. No, it's I go, everything is connected and it's going to be all together. It will be kept together. And sometimes your mubtada can be mudaf taqdiran. There is lafzan, you find a mudaf ilayhi here, but here kullun, when we say kullun kullun lahu qanitun. What am I going to label this kull? This kull is going to be mubtada. Lahu is going to be mutalik bil khabar. Qanituna. Ranaz, what is qanituna? It is marfu ism. You found your mubtada. You found your mutalik bil. Now is what is left here. It is going to be your khabar, and this khabar is marfu bil what? Why is it marfu? What is the sign of rough status in this word qanituna? Which letter tells you? Wow. It is marfu bil waw. Remember that. Marfu bil waw. Okay. So now in this case, taqdiran means, you are saying here, kullu ahadin lahu qanitun. Everyone. When we translate it, we translate it as every? How do we translate kullun here? Give me the trans. Everyone. So where is that one? Alina, do you see that one? Write in your notes today. That ahadin is implied, just taqdiran. Yes, very well done. So this word taqdiran means implied. Remember, just muqaddara, taqdiran, all these are implied words. Okay. So you are thinking here, you are telling yourself here, you're teaching yourself here, kullu ahadin. It means kullu ahadin. Make sense? That everyone to him is qanit, except human beings, unfortunately. So when mubtada is denoting a dua in the favor of someone or against someone, okay? When mubtada is denoting dua that is in the favor or against someone, it is allowed for your mubtada to be common. Do you see anything here? Salamun. Is it a dua or badua? The greeting of Jannah. Dua. So salamun. What are you going to now label it as? Mubtada. And what is alaykum? Jar majroor mutalik bil khabar. What is wailun? Destruction upon those who diminish from the stuff. Wailun. Mubtada lil mutaffifina. Lil mutaffifina. What is that? Mutalik bil khabar. And if someone asks you, why is this common? Why are these two, salamun and wailun, everywhere in Quran, most of the places in Quran? Yes, salam is sometimes proper as well, but for most places it is common. Why? What is the rationale behind it? Dua, right? It is allowed if mubtada is dua or badua for it to be common. Remember that, inshallah. Okay. Okay. So now comes when mubtada has lame tawqeed, which is also called lamul ibtida. Okay. In some cases, it is going to be called lamul ibtida. The meaning is the same. It may be in the middle of the sentence. It is going to be translated as something that is bringing a lot of emphasis. It remains as emphatic lam. Remember one thing about it. So la abadun. In this verse, what do we see here? This lam. So this lam is translated as surely, surely. So this lam of emphasis, when it attaches into itself to a word, it is allowed for that mubtada to be common. So here, when you look at abadun mu'minun, how many reasons are there for abadun to be common? Yes. So if I asked you in test, and I'm going to now, from now onwards, save your answers as well, inshallah, somewhere, so that I know I can show you. You gave me this answer, and you knew the two reasons for this one. So here you can tell me that number one reason is that lamul ibtida is attached, lam of emphasis, and I have written both of them so that you know it is lam of emphasis. It's easy for you to retain. Okay. If it is attached to mubtada, it is allowed for mubtada to be common. And the second reason in this verse is that it is mukhassas bis sifa, right? It has been made specific by use of sifa, right? Everyone with me so far? For those of you who are finding it hard, my dear sisters, it is going to be easy. Okay? If you just go back to the recording. And let me tell you one thing. The people who I listen to their recordings 10 times, because number one reason is they are teaching in Arabic and I don't know Arabic. And number two is I want to learn and I don't feel any shyness from going back to one recording 10 times, 12 times. I remember those days as well when I used to spend 8 hours on one verse. And my sister would say, move on to the next verse and come back to it. And I will still stay on the first verse. And I will not move until I'm done with the first one. So, and for knowledge, we have to approach knowledge with utmost humility. You should not feel shy that if I have to go back to recording, didn't I get it in the first time, or no, there should be no shame. Okay, always remember that. And I'm not a best example, I'm the worst example for any day, but just telling you from my experience that how this is how things work for me, alhamdulillah. And they somehow worked, I think. So here I just specified Islam as well, that this is, let me just highlight, underline this both. You did it, just two reasons, but for now, in under point number 7, um, you can see this, that there is lam there, and I have to focus on lam here. When I go to the point number, I think it was 3 or something, on the point number 3, I have to focus on mu'minun here. Okay, so keep those two things in mind, inshallah. Okay, inshallah. So abadu mu'minun, you know how to attach them. Khairun is your khabar, mim mushrik is going to be your mutaliq with, right? Mim mushrik jar wal majroor, and it's going to be your mutaliq bil khabar. And then comes your another case, and this we have not done a lot of them, so I just put in one example there. If your mubtada is istifham, a question word, questionism, is a ism istifham, ism shart, or come. Okay, these three, if mubtada is these three, it is allowed for it to be common. This come here is mubtada. Okay, and fiat, ghalabat is actually the khabar. And but for now, just look at this word, and inshallah we will do these sentences in future, life permitting, bi'iznillahi ta'ala. So keep that in mind. If word is ism istifham, ism shart, or come. Okay, if your word is coming after lawla, if your mubtada is coming after lawla, it can be common. So here you can see kalimatun. Kalimatun is coming after lawla, and my sentence, this is just a combination of two haruf here. Okay, so this sentence is a ism jumla ismiya, and kalimatun is here mubtada. Okay, so kalimatun is common and proper. It's common. And sister Ambreen, because she has done those sentences with us, so I know she is very well versed with those sentences. Sister Ambreen, do you find, just for her revision as well, if you're there, can you tell me, can there be another reason for this to be common? Kalimatun sabaqat. If you can connect. And let me see if she's there. Yeah, she's thinking. Okay, so think, and we'll come back to you then. Okay, inshallah. So for now, just for rest of the sisters, if your mubtada is after lawla, it can be common. Okay, and Sister Amri has to answer, inshallah. You take your time, inshallah. If your mubtada is matuf alayhi, if your mubtada is matuf alayhi, like this in rajulun wa imra'atun yamshiyani. So here, what is happening here? What do you see here, my dear sisters? What construction have we have learned it? Alhamdulillah, I'm very thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we spent our time on these fragments, alhamdulillah. And now your rajulun is going to be your mubtada, imra'atun is matu, and what is yamshiyani? Yamshiyani, they both walk. So what kind of a word do we see here? Yamshiyani. Mim, sheen, ya are the root letters. And there's a ya in the beginning. No. Think about it, Lina. Yamshiyani. Yamshiyani is mudare, right? It is mudare. And this mudare is, what is the pronoun in this mudare? Give me the pronoun. No, give me the pronoun. Alif. Very well done. The doer is alif. Referring to what? Those rajul and the imra, man and woman, they both walk, right? So what kind of a khabar do we have here? What kind of a khabar? I will. I will repeat it before. Yeah, absolutely. I'm here for you. Your khabar is jumla failure, right? And what did I tell you? What did I tell you? When your jumla is jumla failure, what does it have to have in it? In the last session, we learned it. It has to have a doer or a pronoun. Doer or a pronoun that should refer back to your mubtada, right? Pronoun. It should have your jumla failure, jumla ismiya must have a pronoun that goes back to the mubtada. Does it go back to alif? Goes back to mubtada, rajul and the woman. So there are two people we are talking about, and we found our pronoun in our jumla failure as a khabar. And fi shari in fi shari mutalik bil khabar or mutalik bil fail. Now when you start your khabar, when your khabar is, let me highlight it, when your khabar is jumla failure, now everything is going to be connected to your khabar. Your jar majroor, remember this, and this is going to come with practice. Your jar majroor will stay with your jumla failure. It is going to be mutalik bil fail, even if it is anywhere. And I'm sure we are going to practice that in our next session. I will show you those examples so that you are very well versed with what to do with mutalik bil if you see it in the khabar, or even if you see it before your mubtada, you are going to call it mutalik bil fail if your khabar is fail. Okay, if your khabar is jumla failure, connect your jar wal majroor with your fail. Don't connect it with your ism. The whole thing is you put a bubble around this, and this whole sentence is going to be fi mahalli raf'in because it is a sentence. Remember, we did it last week. Then comes if your mubtada is denoting type of something. For example, I see, ra'aytu. What is here? Ra'aytu. What is ra'aytu? In terms of a fail, ism, what is it? Ana ra'aytu, right? Fail madin. Ta'ul fa'il is the doer. Ta'ul fa'il is the doer. And now I have a jumla failure beginning. Okay. Now, ra'aytu, I saw al-warada. Al-warauda, it means roses. Okay. So al-warauda is what? Maful bihi, right? What did I see? And it is answering my what question? So I'm going to just simply call it maful bihi, right? Most common maful bihi. Badun ahmaru. Now comes another sentence. Some of them, some are red, and some are green, and some are yellow. So when I'm describing the type of different things and types of something, it is allowed for me to keep my mubtada common, because this is not a verse. It's a regular Arabic sentence. Okay, badun. What is badun? Mubtada, and ahmaru is going to be my khabar. Badun, again mubtada, akhdaru is going to be khabar. Badun, mubtada, asfaru is going to be my khabar. Some are red, some are green, and some are yellow. Asfar. Everyone with me so far? So if I have to use my mubtada denoting type of something, mubtada can be common. Okay, I did not say al badu. No, though now I have seen the roses, and the rose, alhamdulillah. I'm really, I really apologize for teaching you such tough subject. But inshallah, I have my full tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I know you are all there to learn. Alhamdulillah. Okay? And that's why I'm teaching you each and everything. You should have access to each and everything. I don't know how long I'm going to be here. and I always think of it like that. So I don't know. So okay, now comes another reason for your mubtada to be common. If your jumla is a halia sentence, okay, if your jumla is a halia sentence, and the halia jumla, remember when we were doing hal, I told you hal can be mufradism, and I told you just concern yourself with mufradism, like it can be um ولا تمشي في الأرض marahan. So something like that we mostly did. We have learned, or there's a word that is plural in describing hal of something, right? But we did not go over the sentences that can come up as hal, and we will do them in future, inshallah. So but I gave you some examples there. Wa antum tanzurun, those examples were there in your notes, but we never went over them in detail, and because that was something to be done later. But if your sentences jumla halia, your mubtada can be common, and here you can see dalilun is common. I crossed the desert while a path led me, okay, while the path was leading me. So a path was guiding me or leading me. So keep that in mind. Dalilun is common because it is mubtada of a jumla haliya. And I'm going to just leave the translations for you, inshallah, after when I send you my notes, inshallah. So don't be overwhelmed with that. Who's the doer here in qata'tu? Is the doer. In case of dalilun yahdeen, what kind of a khabar we have? I will. Khabar is jumla fi'liya, right? Khabar is jumla fi'liya. Do we see a pronoun going back to mubtada? Do we have that pronoun? So no, because here yahdi is the fail. The pronoun here in case of yahdi, think about yahdi. No. Ni is that was ya mutakallam was dropped there. Yahdini, it guides me. So it guides me. The yahdi is one word. Ni, noonul waqaya, ya mutakallim was dropped. It left its mark as kasra there, which I did not put because I just copy pasted it from somewhere, and Arabs expect us to know everything. I will put all the harakas, inshallah. I will do the tashkil of this, inshallah, for you all. And so it was just, sometimes ya mutakallim gets dropped. So that is what happened here. Oh my God, I did not realize it's already past 1. And oh, my apologies, my dear sister. So yes, so Yahdi, just remember this. Yahdi has a damir mustatir hua, and that does go back to dalilun. Yeah, as I shared. Yeah, so no, yeah, so inshallah. So there is a there is an allowance if your mubtada is a mubtada of jumla haliya for it to be common. Okay. Okay, so now there are 2 more, and they are very easy ones. Inshallah, we'll do them later. Let me stop the recording here. Stop recording.